Hello, I'm Bouchier, and I'm privileged and honored to be asked to run for mayor for the city of Edmonton. Well, I'm running for mayor because I've been invited by many people throughout the various wards to run for mayor. Initially in 2013, I ran for Ward 6 and was going to run for Ward 6, but many other wards were inviting me to run in their wards, so I decided that if so many people were wanting me to run in various wards, they then topped it up and asked me if I'd run for mayor instead of just councillor.
Okay.
Well, the motivation is I'm hearing a lot of unhappiness with the current mayor and the current council and the decisions they're making in regards to transit lines, in regards to LRT expansion, in regards to senior programs, and the lack of consideration in people's voices. People are not feeling like they're being listened to or heard or validated. The common folk, and they feel that there's almost like a privileged few that are being heard and listened to, and people are saying, you know, this is a city that was always run by the people, for the people, and we'd like to continue it to be for the people, heard by the people. So I'm running because there's people who are disabled who need to be heard. There are senior citizens who need to be heard. There are people who are the minorities who need to be heard. And being Indigenous, I am very understanding of the issues around the homeless people of Edmonton, who are majority 75% who are of Indigenous to this country. So I think it's important that we be represented on City Council. I believe that we need a more diverse and inclusive representation on City Council, not only as the mayor, but as a for City Council members as well, so that all voices are heard, all cultures are heard and represented, so that equally represented as a democratic society. One of the issues I will be focusing on is ending homelessness in Edmonton. There is no need for homelessness to be happening in Edmonton, and it's to being creative and looking at various means of addressing the issue. I mean, they've had a task force in place that's supposed to be having a 10-year plan to it, and they haven't, I don't think they've even touched the numbers that need to be there. I see the numbers still growing. I don't see them decreasing. I do believe one of the plans that we've been talking about with my team is creating a homeless village. Rather than moving them out of the center core, there is a parcel of land available to Edmontonians that was made that I was made aware of, a 2-acre parcel that I do believe that would be perfect for a homeless village, and the people can continue having their social their social network that they're accustomed to. I don't believe we should tell people where to live. I think we need to help them decide how to live where they want to live. It's located in the River Valley, I believe. It's just on the north side of the river. We are looking at building hemp housing, small housing.
Oh.
We have a whole plan in place, and that'll be revealed after the election. That's one of the proposals that'll be put in place towards decreasing the homelessness and working towards that. And then we're looking at the infill housing as well of, I think about, when you think about seniors there are many seniors right now who are couch surfing that people don't look at. When we think of the word homeless, we always think of the person that's on the streets. There's actually more to it than that. There's people who are couch surfing who don't have a home, who are relying on friends, family, or strangers even renting a couch for a couple $100s a month so they have one place to sleep in the wintertime. And this is just, in my mind, unacceptable. And if we're going to talk about infill housing, then we can talk again about tiny housings rather than big housing that people can profit off of, and creating zoning bylaws so that people can create housing that would accommodate that kind of need, whether it be a senior in need or a student in need, or someone who just moved to Edmonton, new arrivals, refugees, or other people who don't mind sharing a place. Some of the things that they have for housing right now in regards to bylaws or limits families of large families to house together, and in some cultures that's unacceptable. In some cultures, there's multi-generations that live together. I know in the Indigenous culture, that's one of them. And there's been issues around being able to rent houses if they can't buy in that regard. So I think when we think about infill housing, there's other options besides just rental property for other people. I do believe in the harm reduction model. And I do support having injection sites so people can safely inject. Having been part of the working in addictions as a social worker for 30 years in this city and different parts of Canada, helping with initiatives and creating programs for Indigenous people, there's been cultural inclusion that's been very effective. I would like to see more cultural inclusion in our treatment plans and treatment models. I've lived in Edmonton for 53 years. I'm well versed in what's happened in this city, the growth and the progress, and I've seen the deterioration of racial issues that seem to be taking place that weren't here before. I also think that my experience as a social worker and working at the Edmonton Remand for 5 years as the Indigenous elder has given me some insight to what is needed for this city in regards to social issues. We're not addressing the dangers that some people present because of their mental health issues, and we're not taking care of those who are in need. When we think about addictions, I mean, it's a multi-level concern. It's not just has to do with drugs and alcohol. There's also usually some sort of mental disorder or mental illness attached to it, and most likely there's some kind of trauma that took place. We need to have more trauma-centered, focused rehabilitation that happens within the city. I'd like to see, like in every single hospital, and I would work with the Alberta government in negotiating that. And my background and working with the Solicitor General of Alberta gives me the contacts to be able to work with various levels of government and be comfortable in negotiating various terms so that we can address things like addictions and hopefully get units in hospitals, at least one unit per hospital, that'll be a detox center. Presently, we only have 2 detox centers in Edmonton for a city of almost 1 million people. That is absolutely unheard of, and we need more detox centers. The people cannot make good decisions while they're under the influence, and they need to detox before they can make sound decisions to their own wellness. Well, like I've been saying, I've been running sort of a poor man's campaign. I'm not a person of wealth. I don't believe that money generates votes, and it shouldn't. It shouldn't be because I have a lot of money that I'm voted for, nor should it be for the amount of signs I have out there. I truly believe Edmontonians are smarter than that and can look beyond what is visible and see that if someone has a lot of signs out there, they must have a lot of backing behind corporate funding. I am refusing corporate funding. I'm actually relying on the people who've asked me to run to support me in my endeavors to become mayor, and I do believe it's people who do the voting, not money. And I really truly believe in a more inclusive city of multiculturalism and being really on top of things for the people so that everybody gets an equal voice. That's a democratic society.